everyone, this is Beth Castellini with Lizzie Stamps, and today I wanted to show you a fun little technique using outlined stamps. I'm going to show you some of the samples I've done that aren't Christmas related, but I thought I would use this stamp set and the dies that match it called Winterly Treetops. And I wanted to show you, this is a Z-fold card, and I'm going to show you how to make the Z-fold card. But I wanted to show you this birds that I stamped with Versamark and embossed with white embossing powder. And then I heat dried it. And then I took a whitewash that you use with craft white ink. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And it's a really fun technique. It takes a little bit of time, but I'm going to show you how to do it, and it's just fun to play with all the different colors. So I'm going to show you the other cards that I made with this technique, and I used the Country Birds house as well as the Country Woods, or Flowers, I'm sorry, Country Flowers stamp set and dies. So here's one that I did, and you can see I used Mossy Meadow and Old Olive with this to do the succulent, and I did it on crumb cake. So it's fun to do, and there's the inside of it, but that's a cute, this is really cute, and I used different embossing folders and the Country Woods paper and ran it through some of the embossing folders. So if you can see some of the embossing folders. So there's one. And then the next one, this is a fun little fold card as well. Again, using the Country Flowers and stamping on crumb cake and heat embossing with white embossing powder. And then the colors that I used. So I'm going to show you real quick. I just want to show you a sample of when I was doing this. I wanted to try out what the colors would look like. So basically the colors here, I'm just going to show you which ones I used. I used Old Olive and a little bit of Mossy Meadow, but you can see the Old Olive is what I did with the water painter, and I added a little bit of re-inker and just watered it down. And then when you added it onto the whitewash, look at that color. It's really, really pretty. And the same, here's the Mossy Meadow, and here it is on the whitewash. Gray Granite. And here it is on the whitewash. I love what it does when you put it on the white. And then Petal Pink, Pool Party, and Wild Wheat. Wild Wheat has a really cool one too. So the colors I used with this one, I did the Old Olive, Mossy Meadow, the Petal Pink, and Pool Party. So you can definitely see, and I pulled the colors from the Country Woods Designer Series paper. That's what I usually do when I'm doing techniques like this. If I'm using the Designer Series paper that matches the stamp set, I like to use the colors within the Designer Series paper. So I just wanted to show you how, and we're going to do a palette as well today with the colors that I'm using. And this one is just a really cute card using the Designer Series paper, and I used the deckled circle dies and embossing folder. It's so cute. I love it. I just love the colors in that. And the next one, here's one more, and look at the Gray Granite. I just love how the Gray Granite turned out. You'll notice with the Country Woods Designer Series paper, you can stamp on the paper, and it will, it's a great way to show off some of the paper. And I just think it's like, you can tell it's a wood bench. I think it's really cute. And then I distressed the hello. And I used the postage stamp dies on basic beige. That's one of my favorite new colors. And look in the inside. So again, I love the basic beige. This is one of my go-to colors. It is a color you could probably use the whitewash technique on, but we're going to be using crumb cake today to show you. So again, I'm going to show you the card that we're going to work on today, and I'm going to show you the technique. And I will tell you the colors I used for the whitewash I used cherry cobbler. This was actually crumb cake, but I think we're going to use gray granite. And then I used Daffodil Delight for the beak. And I added some Wink of Stella onto the berries once they were dry. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the whitewash technique. And for this technique, you're going to need several supplies. So I have one of our biggest blocks. This is our biggest block that we have. And this block is F. It's the F block. And this is going to be my palette. Okay, I could use a painter's palette. I don't know if you've ever seen the trays. So you could use this to do this, but I like using this because I can just wipe it clean when I'm finished with it. All right, so I have already heat embossed the image. Let me show you. This is the Wintry Treetops. It is a red rubber stamp set. And really nice images. I love the sayings in this, but I definitely wanted a holiday. So when I stamped this, it was with the Keeping Tabs, the Happy Holidays from the Keeping Tabs bundle that comes with a punch. It's in the annual catalog. So I just wanted it Happy Holidays. And so we're going to go ahead. So I wanted to show you, and here are the dies. It has this beautiful pine outline die. And I want to show you the paper that matches this is really cool. Because you know me, I love when the dies cut out the paper. So this paper is the Nests of Winter 12 by 12 designer series paper. And we're going to be using that today, some of it today. But I want to show you this one. If you can see this one. And I will show you the dies that cut out, which I love the dies that cut out the paper. So as you can see, this one cuts out that, and this die right here cuts out this one. Okay, so you could die cut all of these if you wanted to. I think it's really fun. I do love the spray right here, and that does have a die that cuts it out, as well as this gets cut out. And then there's some pine branches, and then some other branches right here. So it's a fun little stamp set with the dies. So that's the paper. There's also some really nice, it's really nice foliage, just the birds. You definitely, and I'm definitely going to, you can use what the colors of what they did for the birds, which I think is really pretty. So they used Blueberry Bushel, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Gray Granite, Crumb Cake, Shaded Spruce, Garden Green, and Copper Clay. So those are just some really pretty colors all within that. But it is really pretty. Here's another one that shows some more birds. I meant to show you. Here's the other side of that one. It's hard, like you don't want to cut these birds out. Here's the other one using a pool party. It looks like a snowstorm, which is pretty. And then you've got this one. So I think that's really cute. And then here's the back of that one as well. So the paper is really nice. Here's the other pattern, and that's the one I'm using today. So really fun. I love that the dies cut out the paper. That's one of my big things when I'm looking at bundles to buy. I love when in the paper, I love getting a whole suite, especially when it does that. Okay, so this is what you're gonna need. So here I have the block, okay? I've got the block right here. I have a water painter and I filled it with water. You're gonna want that. You're gonna want a paper towel just to wipe off. And you're going to need craft ink re-inker, okay? This is very thick, so this is why we're using the water painter, so we can tone it down just a little bit with the water, all right? And then I have re-inkers. Here's Gray Granite. I have Daffodil Delight. And I have Cherry Cobbler. And I also have the crumb cake, which I did on the first card, but we're not going to be using that, but I did want to show you. So right now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of craft re-inker onto the block. And then this is what you really want to water it down. You don't want it too thick and you don't want it too watery. So you just sort of want it like a happy medium. And I'm going to wipe off a little bit. It does not ruin your paint, your water painter. So I just want to go ahead and just get as much water. I'm just going to add a little bit more water right there. Okay. All right. So here is, I've already done some already, but I'm going to show you is we're just going to paint over the image that you want to do the whitewash on. And I'm doing the bird. And you'll notice I'm going all over it, because what you can do after you've painted where you wanted, then you can take your paper towel and just dab off so it's not sticking to the embossed area. So that's basically how much you really need, okay? You don't need it too white. You really don't want it too white. So I'm going to go ahead and add to the branch here and then to the berries. We have the berries right here. And you're going to be die cutting this out. So you're going to die cut this one out after you use the technique. Okay. So I've done it all. And I'm just going to dab over with my paper towel just to, and you want this to be dry, okay? I will tell you that I've done this when the inker, the craft ink, takes a little bit longer to dry. So you really, really want to be careful that you dry it. So we're going to heat emboss it just so it gets dry. And then I'm going to wipe off. I'm going to wipe off my block. Okay, so now we're going to be ready with our colors. All right, but first I'm going to heat emboss this. So here we have it. Okay, there we go. There, it's ready to go. All right, so the first one we're going to use, and this time, because I was trying to look at the birds from the paper, and so I'm going to try and copy this one, okay? So this is gray granite, and you'll notice it's a little darker. The beak is a little bit lighter, and then you've got the cherry cobbler in the middle. And here you have copper clay. We could try the copper clay, but I was going to use crumb cake for the wood. So, but we can get out copper clay. That's not going to be a problem. We'll see. Here's the copper clay. So let's go ahead and experiment. So we're going to go and add. You don't need a lot of cherry cobbler, I'm telling you, just a little bit. Just that is just enough that you're going to need, because the cherry cobbler is really, really dark. The re-inker is very dark. So again, I'm going to squeeze some water and see how rich and dark it is. Like, I'm really trying to water it down. So here is our sample palette, and I'm going to add the cherry cobbler re-inker right here. Okay, this is the watered down. Now we're going to do it over the whitewash. Look at that. It's just such a prettier color. It's almost a different shade of the cherry cobbler. It's almost like part of it, a little bit of real red. It looks a little bit burgundy to me. It's very pretty. I really, really like it. So now let's go ahead and add this to the card. And I'm going to go ahead And I'm really want this to be light. So I'm just going to go ahead and brush over the bird. You notice I'm going all the way over even the embossed area. That's totally fine to do, okay? And I just want the breast of the bird to be in cherry cobbler, and then I can just take my ranker and wipe that off. You can actually dab on it if you don't want it so dark, which I just did, because it really, I mean, I didn't use a lot. You saw, I did not use a lot. Okay, so this time, here we go. We're going to go over this one. It's really, and you know, birds in winter, they're just so pretty and they're so full of color. I really, really love it. Okay, so here we have, and I'm just going to dab it again. Okay, and then we're going to do the berries, and I'm going to do this real quick. So, and you can go back over and make some darker if you want to, just depending how you wanted the look of the image to be. Okay, so I think we're done with that. I'm going to take my paper towel and dab a little bit. And if you color outside the lines, it's okay because you're going to be die cutting this out. Okay, so that is the cherry cobbler. I will tell you, the cherry cobbler does take a little bit longer to rinse off. So just really be careful when you're doing it. I even sometimes take a baby wipe and I will wipe it through. But you really want to make sure that it's clear. So you got to squeeze a lot. So the next one I want to use is the gray granite. Okay, this time we're going to do the crest of the bird in gray granite. So here's the gray granite. Again, not using a lot. Gonna add some water and move it around so you can see it's a little bit lighter. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here's what it looks like. This is the gray granite. Here's the gray granite. And now with the whitewash, I love the whitewash on it. For some reason, it just is so pretty. So there's the gray granite, and there it is on the whitewash. Okay, so let's go ahead and color in the bird, the rest of the bird. When I was using the crumb cake, I really wasn't sure because I am using crumb cake cardstock. You definitely want to use a darker cardstock, not as dark as Night of Navy. I've tried the whitewash technique with that, and I really either love Basic Beige, Pool Party's really pretty, Crumb Cake is really pretty. Any of the like lighter hue colors, in the blues, Balmy Blue would be really pretty. I'm trying to think. Not necessarily the reds or the oranges. So you definitely want to stick with neutral. I think Pool Party and Balmy Blue are a little bit more neutral as well. So there we go. See how I'm just colored, but I'm going to dab it just so I get it colored in. I do like the gray granite better than the crumb cake, not going to lie. And what you can do is you could use gray granite for the branches, but we're just going to try something different. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off, keep it clean. There we go, it's all clean. And let's use copper clay, okay? So here's the copper clay. Again, I'm not using very much. I'm just using a little bit of the copper clay. So okay, so then I want to water it, add some water. Okay, all right, let's see our palette. Here's our palette, and this is copper clay. And then here it is on the whitewash. So it's pretty. I like it. Okay, so here we are, cherry cobbler, gray granite, copper clay. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the copper clay, so a little bit on the branches. It really does give a pretty soft, muted effect. You can definitely try all different kind of stamps that you have. And we don't, the only thing with our reinkers, sometimes we just reink our stamp pads, but this is really a cool technique. And I saw it from another fellow demonstrator, Brandy Cox, and I just was like, oh, wow, I think this is just so much fun. And I never get to use my water painters at all. I never get to use them. So it comes in a pack of 3. So there are 2 other ones that are wider brushes, but this is the fine tip one. All right, our last one, we don't need a lot of it, but it's Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to add Daffodil Delight, water it down, and we're going to see what it looks like. We'll just water it down a little bit. Okay, there we go. So here's our palette again. Let me move it again. Here's our palette. And we are going to add, here's Daffodil Delight. And here's what it looks like on the whitewash. It's a brighter color. I think it's really pretty. So that's fun. So when you're working with this technique, I definitely would do something like that and do a palette and put the whitewash on the crumb cake paper and see how it looks with the colors. So definitely before you decide to do it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and just color the beak. And that's it. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to just go ahead and heat dry it again. So I'm going to take my die and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So here we go. The cutout, really, really fun, really pretty. So to make the Z-fold card, okay, it's really easy to do. It's one cut and it's two scores and then the layering. So it's really pretty. All right. So the first thing we're going to need is a piece of shaded spruce. And I'm taking these colors from the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper. And it's 4 1/4 by 11, and it's scored at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. 5 1/2 is usually your standard score line, but then you're scoring the half of that, which is 2 3/4. Okay, so you need that. Then you need a piece of, this is the Designer Series paper at 5 1/4 by 4, and that's going to be for the inside. So we need that. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper at 2 1/2 by 4, and they are going to go on either side right here. And then you need your layering cardstock at 4 1/2 by 3 1/4, and I have 2 of those, and this is Cherry Cobbler, again, using the colors in the paper. And then 2 pieces of basic white. 2 pieces of basic white at 4 1/4 by 3. Okay? So this time I embossed this with the Snow Fall 3D embossing folder. And we're going to do it without it this time. But it just, for me, I just need a little bit more, because there was just a little bit too much white space. What we could do is use some of the paper on the other side. I think this would be really pretty. I don't know how it would look on the card with the green. I don't know. I would rather just keep it white because you really want the bird to stand out. All right, so let's go ahead and score this. So remember, you have your valley and your mountain after you score, and you're going to fold into the mountain. Folding into the mountain, and then you're going to fold this one back. Okay? So there we go. So now you have your card base scored. Okay? Then you're going to take your 5 1/4 by 4 piece of designer series paper. You could use the other side if you wanted to. This is garden green on the back. And then we're going to add it to the card like this. All right, there we go. I do love the little birds. Look at that with the pine cones. It's really, really pretty. Okay, then we're gonna add our 2 layers on either side, our 2 panels. This is one. Okay, and then the other. Okay, there you go. All right, now let me give you a trick. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna layer the white. Since we're not doing anything with the white, we're gonna layer the white onto the cherry cobbler real quick. Actually, I'm gonna do it on both pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and layer that. There's a 1/4 inch all the way around, so you get a little bit of the cherry cobbler popping out. I'm gonna do it on this one as well. Okay. All right. I have craft ink everywhere. Okay. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either layer this piece first and then layer this piece underneath, or you can do it the other way. So we're going to try it this way. And I'm just going to make sure that I have the same. We're just going to try and lay it so it's equal around the whole piece of paper, just like that. All right. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on this side. I don't want it all over because you don't want to see the glue. So now, then I'm just going to go ahead and line it up like this and press down. And there I know I have it even, so it layers together. There's the Z-fold. Very, very easy. Okay. So then we have our beautiful birds right here. And then we also have, I die cut out one of the birds that I'm going to put on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. I do love using the paper. It saves a lot of time, so you can cut out the paper and not have to stamp and color. So I think that's a big plus. All right, so we're going to add dimensionals, okay? So I'm going to take some dimensionals and add them to, there we go. I'm going to add them here, there. All right, I'm using up extra dimensionals that I've had. I'm going to use some smaller ones for these right here. But I get these dimensionals in card kits, and I definitely use up all of them. So I just save every last little bit. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and pull off all the backings of the dimensionals. All right, and I'm going to put it right about here. Okay. Then our happy holidays, I'm just going to go ahead and add dimensionals as well. And here we go. There we go. Now, we do have these cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries, which are really cute. They did come in a trio. I've used them. I've used the cherry cobbler trio, but we're going to use just the singles, And I'm just going to add, just to give it a little bit more dimension to the card. I'm all about the bling. I'm all about the embellishments. I think it's just really, really pretty. All right, so we have those. And then I'm going to take my Wink of Stella. And I'm going to Wink of Stella the berries really quick. Okay, so we are all finished. Isn't that so pretty? I love it. So here's the one I did with the crumb cake. This is the bird's crest with the crumb cake. And here's the one with the gray granite. I'm honestly like prone to use the gray granite, but I do love the colors when you add the craft ink and make what we call a whitewash. And it's really, really cute. This is a great little bundle, fun for the holidays. The paper's really pretty. So I think this would be great to add to your collection. And definitely you can try on other ones, just like I showed you. So I'll show you again these. So this again is using the country flowers. Here's that one, and this one. So those are using the country flowers with the Country Woods Designer Series paper. So I really hope you enjoyed this technique. I hope you give it a try. I would love to see if you decide to make the cards. I would love to see your samples. So you can follow me at Lizzie Stamps on Facebook. And also if you have not subscribed before, go ahead and subscribe down below to my YouTube channel. So I love showing techniques. I can do all the different fun folds or different ways to make cards, but I just love showing the different techniques. So you'll see a lot of fun different techniques on my YouTube channel. So I really hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching and happy stamping.